Welcome to the Pure Energy Healing Academy. Welcome to Mark Bajerski YouTube channel. This conversation is going to be a little bit of a tough one because it brings back memories for me. And it's a conversation that predominantly people don't talk about. It's very taboo. And I think I don't really want to talk about it, but I guess somebody needs to kind of share this kind of information because it's factual evidence that I've accumulated over the years. So I'm going to start with two explanations, two experiences that are very similar in case. So the first one is a teenager and a mother comes to Mijas Pueblo and looks for a healer called Mark Bajerski and finds him and comes upstairs to my reading room. That time it was in a shop called Tickle Pink and I was upstairs. So the mother and daughter sits down. I can clearly see the daughter is dazed, bewildered, sad. I could feel the suffering and pain. I could feel my heart ripping. And the mother extremely anxious, nervous. Coats were taken off, big smile, everything's going to be fine. Give a healing session. Healing session's over. Daughter is in peace and mother really feels the need to start talking. I can't tell the mother to shut up and let the healing session start to take its course because the mother was so anxious she needed to also heal and get it off her chest. I asked her would she like a healing session. She said no, which is absolutely fine, and then proceeded to tell me about her daughter's issue. That issue, particular one that I'm talking about, is of a boyfriend who the boyfriend of the mother. The mother was divorced and found a new boyfriend, and the boyfriend was causing a lot of suffering to the daughter. I'm going to skip to the very end. The mother got the courage to kick the new man out, and the daughter was back to normal health after about 6 months of the trauma of going through of a monster being in the house. Healed, all done, thank you very much, lesson learned, move forward. Mother and daughter looks for a healer called Mark Bajerski one day, and they found him. They came upstairs. The daughter looks bewildered, confused, filled with fear. Mother shaking, not knowing what to do. Give the daughter a healing session. Mother didn't want a healing session, but wanted to express and heal by way of telling me the situation. The situation was the daughter had got a new job, and that job was extremely challenging. It was high-level job working, I think, a law firm. If it wasn't a law firm, it was an accountant's firm. And the load, the pressure of deadlines, of all of these things, was too much for the daughter. Skip forward. Mother allows daughter to leave job, and healing is over and they can move on after about 3 months. These are just two memories of a beautiful outcome. Now let's look at another outcome. Mother-daughter comes and looks for a healer in Mijas Pueblo, finds the healer, comes upstairs to my healing room. Daughter lays down, has a healing session. Mother doesn't want a healing session because it's not her issue, and she feels that she wants to help her daughter and hoping that this healing session will work, doesn't listen, and only hears what she wants to hear, and begins to tell me of a story of her daughter and why she was going through such pain and suffering because the mother had met somebody and the daughter wasn't happy. Mother proceeded to continue the relationship, and about 6 or 7 months later, daughter takes some tablets and tries to kill herself, but fails. They caught her in time. Tries one more time by taking a razor blade and cutting her wrists. Caught in time, and then unfortunately, the third time, yeah, a little bit difficult, but third time, had to leave this world, leaving mother with an abusive man, and that relationship didn't last, I think, too long thereafter. And I think till this moment has regretted ever since, and will do till her last breath. Okay, that was a tough one. I actually don't want to talk about the other one. That was it, just enough. That was too much in itself. So I was going to tell you another story about a young lad, about 9 years old, and very similar circumstances, but it was because of a school and a bully, a really bad bully, and yeah, they didn't take the child out of the school, and then it was too late because the child did something to themselves, and yeah, not a good ending again. So why am I talking about this? Why am I not talking about uplifting, beautiful things and wonderful things? Because as a healer, we get to see things that most people just don't see. And in the end, it's like, well, why didn't anybody tell me these things? The moral of the story that I've learned with my children is, if there's ever any pain and suffering, for me, the utmost importance is to take them out of the root cause of the suffering. So let's say my daughter was suffering because of a circumstance where she was, I would encourage her to get out of that circumstance. If she's in a relationship, get out of that relationship, and so on, because that's the root cause of the issue. There's arguments, and I've sat in front of people and argued and said that you've got to make your child stronger and they've got to go through these things. But my reaction is, what happens if your child doesn't have that strength mechanism? What happens if they just can't cope anymore? And what happens one day, God forbid, that you wake up and find out that your child isn't there anymore because they decided that life was too challenging, too difficult, too emotional, they can't cope, and they just want to go and they do something to themselves, and then you never see them again. You see, the moral of the story to me is, it's very hard being a parent. It's extremely hard. But I tend to look at the worst case scenario in the sense of what is the root cause. The worst case scenario depends on the root cause, right? So the root cause, if you can't fix, if you can't find, if you can't heal it, then there could be a worst case scenario. So I've seen many times people try to resolve a problem by giving this, doing that, trying this method, healing, trying to do this, trying that. But it was always, and I've tried to mention it to you before, that there was many clients that came to me, lied down, had a healing session, left, came back with the same issue, lied down, had a healing session, came back, until they realized that there's no amount of healing that can heal a circumstance that you're in. Look, if you're working for a company and you've got a boss who's a bully, there's only so much you can allow yourself to become a punch bag, become an emotional punch bag. Eventually you're going to break down and it's going to be too much. So what I kind of like try and look at things in a different way. What I try and see is, look, you can go through all of that punch bag until you're a wreck, until you've got more trauma inside you, and then you fall. And when you fall, you can't go back into work because he's just knocked it out of you, or she's just knocked it out of you. So you're rendered useless. So why go through all of that suffering than to say, you know what, don't talk to me like that. Don't treat people like that. Or, you know what, Mum, I'm not happy with this man. I don't want to be here. At 15 and 13, you can't say that. But if you think about it, would your child want to stay? No, they wouldn't. And, you know, this job, this school, this situation, it needs to be resolved. And a lot of the times, mums and dads just don't have the time and the energy, and they just push them in that school. And they have to go through the trauma, and that trauma they have to live with for the rest of their life. But what I'm saying is worst case scenarios here. This is the worst case scenario. Very rare, but it does happen. So why am I doing this video? Because as of late, I'm receiving so many messages of mums and dads concerned about their children, and their children are at school being bullied. Their children are going to, some kind of, university, college, going to pre-learn at certain places, you know, that I can't remember what they're called. It's just before you start a job, you go to a job and do 2 weeks or a month there or something like that. So then like the parents are asking me, like, we're trying different crystals, we're trying ways of changing their diet, and there's lots of things that you can do, for sure there is, but I don't know what it is. I just think that there comes a point where if you're seeing suffering of your child, I would ask myself, why would you want to put your child through that suffering more than a job or a career or schooling or whatever it may be? So yeah, I'm itching now, and that's normally a sign that somebody's going to be upset. It's going to irritate somebody. Yep. So yeah, I mean, we really need to sit our children down and look at them and feel them and talk to them and ask ourselves, is the investment of what you've done over the years more important than the happiness and the joy of your child? I put a video out there the other day, and it was just a short video of the sea, and just next to the sea there was like a hole, and there was seawater in that hole, and there was one lonely fish swimming in that hole, and just so close to the sea there was the sand, and all of a sudden the fish decides to jump out of the little pond and make its way, where it was challenging, make its way to the sea, and then in that one action their whole life changed. And the metaphor, the moral of the story is that sometimes we can be stuck in that pool, just swimming round and round, being sad and depressed, or we can take that leap of faith and get out of that to begin a new life. And I think when you look back over the years and listen to the most amazing stories that you've ever heard, those stories are the ones where people were brainwashed to believe that what their job, what they did all their life as a child, growing up, learning, studying, college, and it's the degree and becoming a doctor, or your mum and dad pushing you to be this or that, and the child saying it's not what I want to do, and then the child rebelling and doing whatever they wanted to do, ending up in so much happiness and joy. All I'm trying to say is that there is an in-between story of what I'm talking about, and I've seen it, and I've seen that story end very badly if the parents don't take action and see exactly what's going on. And I would ask yourself, what do you measure most of all? Do you measure that the idea of this perfect job because it pays a lot of money, and maybe because you'd feel better if your daughter is a doctor or a lawyer or a barrister, or is that more important than the fact that the possibility is that your child might end up in deep trauma and, worst case scenario, not here anymore? It's something that I used to put to my clients as something that they may not have seen because of what they went through. Because what they went through may have been like, get up off your ass and get on with it and stop moaning. And maybe they can get through that, just like some people can do drugs and it doesn't affect them. And some people who do drugs, it affects them for the rest of their life. And that's the same with emotion and stress. Some people can cope with stress and some people just can't. So I make this video just so that you can sit down and maybe think about it and maybe talk to your child. And on a final note, I just want to leave you with this. Is your child worth more in this world to you for the rest of your life, or their job, their career? It's just a question I pose upon you to think about. Whatever my daughter wants to do, if she's happy, great. If I see her unhappy and start to get sad, I will rush to the rescue and do my best to say, you can do anything what you want. And my encouragement, my effort, my passion, my focus would be on trying to help guide her in the path of happiness, not in the path of career and being a CEO or the best barrister or the best doctor. My guidance would be guiding them to the happiest place. You can't take money with you from this world to the next. You don't own anything while you're here, you just borrow it. It's just food for thought. Yeah, I'm not going to apologize. No, I normally apologize, but I'm not going to apologize because it's the truth, and it's a subject which is taboo and people don't want to talk about it, and those that have lost their child don't want to talk about it. Well, why would you? Why would you even dare talk about it? You'd feel a failure. You'd feel like you didn't listen, and for the rest of your entire life, every day would be a thought of, why didn't I? Why didn't I? Why didn't I listen? Have a beautiful day, guys. Yeah, sorry about that. It's a deep one, but sometimes these conversations need to be had. And maybe there's a daughter out there who wants to send this to their mother because they need to hear it. And if it saves one person's life, then I've done my job. Have a great day from my heart to yours. Take care.